Whoever else might hear this, I want to go over and give an update. And I guess bottom line up front, the concept of putting servers at Highland and running an AI software firm out of there. And this is where this slide almost captures all of it. Where what I've been working on is a system in which it captures human wisdom as a commons. So when I talk about a commons, think about like the water, land, air. These are things that are all administered through the commons. And the business hypothesis I'm making is that there's a leapfrogging opportunity to go from a smart system to a wise system. And what I've been developing out the past few weeks, and I've created two books, or two and a half, I almost got my third book done on this, on how to institute wisdom in design and capture it, right? So first off, you have to own your own servers, own your own hardware. And then from there, I use AI to build out a system called a mutual credit system. And over time, that creates and captures wisdom, human wisdom. So I want to go through this slide deck and kind of go over that general concept, right? That we take individual knowledge, everything's smart, right? You have smartphones, smart networks, smart homes. So the next evolution is going to be wise. And how do you capture that wisdom? So I fed this slide here to create the presentation, talk about the neighborhood, which I think everybody's versed on in this audience. So these wise autonomous organizations is what I've created. It's a good time to get into the book. So I do now have my first book up on what do you call it, on Amazon, KDP, and it's about post-labor economics. So this gets into identity crisis as our jobs get taken from us. What does it mean in the future? And this is where I start laying out the investment club, because your physical labor won't have value anymore, so your capital labor needs to substitute that. And then it prescribes helping the homeless or the disadvantaged first getting onto that system. And I'll get into that a little bit more. So this is that first book. I got a little back cover, stuff like that. I'm super proud of it. Talks about my background, and I'm drawing off my work at the Pentagon and my time in Africa. The second book I'm dropping, which I just finished the final edits last night, and this one is about, so it's 140 pages, and this is to talk about these wise autonomous organizations, how they're built, really like tie them back to my time in Africa and showing how I came up with this idea of running the internet in rural Africa. But that one's coming out. I have the book cover I just finished up last night. It's pretty cool. But so these wise autonomous organizations, I did the homework behind them, and then each one of them, you basically just pick kind of a topic, or a company as a topic, right? It's an organization or a community, and then you create this framework within it. So one of the first being, the homeless. So here's that leapfrogging opportunity, right? We're moving from smart networks to wise networks. And I've been getting a lot of great feedback on this. I actually spoke to a very wealthy guy the other day, who's a IBM machine learning and artificial intelligence certified guy, and he just paused and started quoting his college philosophy professor about when I was talking about it. And he just stopped and pointed. He was like, "You're onto it. You got it." Here's the tokenomics. So each industry, we can basically raise $500,000 to start buying the software, paying salaries, and anything else for the startup. So, $500,000 isn't much, but if you think about it, if I get $500,000 to do the wise autonomous organizations, basically build a platform that builds other platforms, and then get into it and then start talking about, like, the first one would be this like WAO for the homeless. And I've got 99 members to be SEC compliant. It has to be a learning community, and everyone has to have an equal vote within the community. So you just build the app that's compliant, so you can't break the rules in this. Entertainment. So this is another big one. Let's create a WAO for entertainment, and this might be a place where we could write a book together and talk about how the WAO framework will work in entertainment. The other piece too is federal contracting. I'm working with a client that works with the VA, and we're already working on a book about putting WISE autonomous organizations within federal contracting. It proposes a series of pilot programs, and it's really, really timely because Trump just signed two major pieces of legislation which directed all federal agencies to get blockchain compliant. They just announced yesterday what blockchains are going to use, and it matches my design perfectly. Like everything's coming together. This is amazingly wild. So I'm going to redefine how contracting and bring wisdom into it, and we can start contracting with the federal government. I mean, quick, my background, my connections, and then having any kind of plan out there. Even if I'm wrong, it's still a plan where everybody else is absent a plan and a direction. So here we go. Kind of a timeline. Set up headquarters at Highland, and we'll discuss how that works. You know, maybe just one place, and then start scaling and growing out of that. Um, yeah, like I say, I start launching the books, and then also each book then creates an economy with these WAOs, and then you start raising money because you have to buy your own infrastructure. So the money raised goes toward salaries, startup costs, and buying servers. And that's where Highland should just be a server farm, basically. And then you put humans on top of those servers that create clever systems of value. Trying to think. What else can I show you here? But I think we'll keep it short and just like leave it at that. It's not a one all be all thing. You guys know me. We can kind of just. I just wanted to touch and go and show you what I've been up to these past few weeks.